Hello and welcome to another edition of Toys from the Attic. Well, I finally got my hands on one of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutagen. And you know, this guy was actually one of my most favorite characters growing up as a kid. So let's see how the new one actually holds up by taking a closer look at this guy. Now, as far as the packaging goes, it's your standard blister card packaging for this line. You have the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo up here at the top, the name prominently displayed here at the bottom, in this case Mutagen Man, the images of the four brothers right here on the side, and your other labels right here with playmates and ages 4 and up. There's not really else much to the front. Now the back of the box is where it becomes a little bit more interesting. Next to the image of Mutagen Man, you're given his bio, listing his personality and backstory, along with any abilities and weapons he might have, and his allegiance to Team Krang. If anything, I find that a little bit odd, because he's not really affiliated with the Krang or the Foot Clan. If anything, he's his own threat, but I guess it's easier to slap a Krang icon next to him rather than come up with a whole new category of characters that are neither good nor bad. As far as the rest of the box art goes, it's pretty standard. You got your whole good guys team right here showing all the four brothers and all of their allies. And you have the bad guys over here showing the Shredder and all of his minions. There's not really much else to it other than that. So let's open this guy up and actually just get him out of the packaging. Okay, so here we have Mutagen Man out of the box. Now, as far as action figures go, he's not that bad. He has just enough level of detailing on him to get the points across in certain areas. You have some nice little ridges in here for the container that holds him. You have the little voice box here that Donnie hooked up that allows him to speak. And his arms have just enough mass and shape to them so you could tell that they are some goop that's leaking out of them. Oh, one other neat thing is actually the little base, little opening right here that you've seen in the show. Just that little iris shape, I kind of find that funny that that's actually at the bottom of him. The other level of detailing that he has is actually on the guts. You just, to get those out, you just kind of twist his little top and pull them out, and they come out as one little mass that's attached to the top. It's all painted one solid pink, so you do lose a little bit of the shapes in there, but if you're like me, I'm going to go in here and paint some of these things. Like I'll paint the liver, the lungs, the heart and stomach a little bit more. And, oh yeah, you can kind of see the mouth and tongue right in there. And I think if I did that, it would really help this kind of, just the shapes pop out a little bit more. Okay. As far as his articulation goes, it's okay. His wrists can move side to side. His upper arms, though, right here, just because of how they come out of this tube right here, it just kind of hinders the amount of movement for the joint, so that's kind of sad right there. And he has no elbow articulation, so his arms are always in this bent state. You get a little bit more of posability out of the legs. They can move up and down, and they can move out just a little bit farther, but still they're kind of limited as well. The only other downside is his height compared to the other turtles. He's a lot smaller than what you see in the show. In the show I think he was probably about this tall compared to the turtles, but I can overlook that just because, I'm not going to nitpick about his size too much. Now, comparing him to the original Mutagen Man, you can definitely see a big difference in their design, although a lot of the staples are there. The guts floating inside a jar, so that's you get the staples. But there's definitely a huge difference in the design from the original 80s line to the new modern one. Now, just like the original Mutagen Man, his container in here is watertight, so you can fill him up with just about any liquid you want. In this case, I'm going to be using some water, just because I feel it magnifies the guts rather well. You can see how much bigger they are, and a lot more detail comes across. It would have been kind of nice, like in the original, that you get some little bit of floating debris in here, but that's just a little bit of a nitpick. Now, unlike the original Mutagen Man, you can put, Mutagen inside this one. The hole in the top of his head is big enough to where it's not going to be a super pain in the butt. The only downside is if you try to fill him up all the way to the brim, you're not going to be able to see anything on the inside. Like if I get the guts in here, it's just lost in that green mass. My actual suggestion is only put in a little bit. I'm going to take out some of it, but leave that in there. There we go. So it looks like his guts are actually just sitting inside the pool of mutagen. Also this way, if you turn them side to side, the mutagen will kind of move around with them. So I think that's actually the better way to display them. Now, I'm not really a big fan of gimmicks when it comes to toys. However, I will admit that this one is actually rather cool. You can put a little bit of ooze inside the wrist of his hand, and if you force it back down here on the plunger, it looks like it's just pouring out of the suckers on his hand, which actually looks really gross and is rather cool. Other than that, there's not really much to the character. If you're a fan of the new series and really like Mutagen Man, I definitely would say pick him up. If not, and you didn't like what you've seen here, then I would say skip it. But other than that, this has been a look at the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutagen Man. Once again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed what you've seen today, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, or leave a comment below in the comment section. Any advice for the show will be greatly appreciated. Who knows, some of you suggest may appear on the show in the future.